Every trailer in this video came from a viewer comment. No outline, no research list, just people who work with these trailers every day telling me what I missed. This is the result of that. The truss trailer. Roof trusses, the triangular timber frames that form the skeleton of a pitched roof on almost every house built in the last 50 years, are manufactured in factories and delivered to construction sites flat, in large bundles, ready to be lifted into position by crane. The problem is that a bundle of roof trusses is wide, awkward, and fragile at the joints, and a standard flatbed does not handle them well because the load wants to slide, roll, and shift in ways that standard strapping cannot fully control. The truss trailer starts as a standard low flatbed frame, nothing unusual about the base structure. What makes it a truss trailer is what has been added on top of that frame. Added. Roller deck system. Steel rollers are mounted across the full trailer width at regular intervals along the deck. The trusses sit on these rollers rather than on a fixed floor. The rollers allow the load to move longitudinally, forward and backward, along the trailer under controlled conditions. This is not a flaw in the securement. It is the entire unloading mechanism. Added. Hydraulic front board. Many truss trailer configurations add a hydraulic tilting front board that raises the nose of the deck slightly, creating a gentle rearward slope that encourages the load to slide consistently toward the rear during unloading. A truss trailer typically runs 40 to 53 feet long, 12 to 16 meters, about the length of a standard 40-foot shipping container in Europe, or the distance between the two 10-yard lines on an American football field in the US. The unloading method is what a viewer whose father ran one for 20 years described in the comments with precision. At the delivery site, the driver reverses the trailer toward the building site at slow speed and then applies the brakes sharply. The momentum of the truss bundle carries it forward on the rollers, sliding off the rear of the trailer onto the ground at the delivery point under its own inertia. No crane required, no forklift. The truck's own braking force does the unloading. The roller deck and the hydraulic tilt board together make a two-person delivery operation out of a load that would otherwise require a crane and a rigging team. The tender trailer. The tender trailer operates in two completely separate worlds, and the name covers both of them. In agriculture, a tender trailer is a service unit that travels with farming equipment during planting and spraying operations. It carries bulk seed, liquid fertilizer, or agricultural chemicals, and transfers them directly into the planter or sprayer in the field, without either machine having to leave the field to reload at a depot. The base structure is a standard flatbed or low loader frame. What separates a tender trailer from any other flatbed carrying a tank or hopper is everything that has been added on top of that base. Added. Bulk hopper or tank body. Depending on the commodity being carried, dry seed, liquid fertilizer, or chemical spray. The body is either a hopper for dry bulk or a sealed tank for liquids. Some tender trailers carry both simultaneously in separate compartments. Added. Onboard transfer system. An auger for dry products or a pump for liquids transfers the commodity directly from the tender trailer into the planter or sprayer without manual handling. The transfer system is powered either by the trailer's own engine or by a power takeoff connection to the tractor. Added. Onboard scales. Tender trailers used for precision agriculture carry integrated weighing systems that measure exactly how much product has been dispensed to each machine on each pass. This data feeds directly into farm management software. Added. Independent lighting system. Planting and spraying operations regularly run through the night during the narrow seasonal windows available. Tender trailers carry their own lighting independent of the tractor. A standard agricultural tender trailer carries between 15 and 30 tons, 33,000 to 66,000 pounds, roughly the weight of 2 to 4 adult African elephants at approximately 6,000 kilograms, 13,000 pounds each, or the weight of 10 to 20 average European family cars at approximately 1,500 kilograms, 3,300 pounds each. In motorsport, a tender trailer is the service unit following a race transporter carrying support equipment, spare parts, and tire sets. The two applications share only the name and the basic function, a trailer that serves another operation rather than delivering to a fixed destination. Turnpike doubles. In Part 2, the doubles section covered two 28-foot, 8.5 meter pup trailers connected behind a single tractor. A viewer pointed out that this is only one configuration of doubles, and that the terminology in the United States is more specific than the video made it sound. He was right. A Turnpike double connects two full-size trailers, typically 48 feet, 14.6 meters, or 53 feet, 16 meters, each, behind a single tractor. The total combination length reaches 105 to 115 feet, 32 to 35 meters, about the length of three standard 40-foot shipping containers placed end-to-end in Europe, or just over the distance from the goal line to the far 10-yard line on an American football field in the US. The base trailers are standard dry vans or flatbeds, nothing modified about the trailers themselves. What makes the Turnpike double configuration work is one specific piece of equipment added between the two trailers. Added. Converter dolly. A converter dolly is a short-wheeled unit with its own axles and its own fifth wheel mounted on top. The rear trailer's kingpin couples to the dolly's fifth wheel the same way a standard trailer couples to a tractor. The dolly connects to the rear of the front trailer using a drawbar. Without the converter dolly, a second full-size trailer cannot be legally or safely towed behind the first. The dolly is the entire reason the combination is possible. That length is the reason Turnpike doubles are called what they are. The combination is restricted to turnpikes. Long, straight, high-standard toll roads with generous interchange radii. On those roads, it is legal and efficient. Off them, it is not practical, and in most states not permitted. Rocky Mountain doubles. The Rocky Mountain double is the configuration between standard doubles and turnpike doubles. One full-size lead trailer, typically 48 feet, 14.6 meters, connected to one shorter 28-foot, 8.5 meter, pup trailer by a converter dolly. Total combination length runs approximately 80 to 85 feet, 24 to 26 meters, about the length of two standard 40-foot shipping containers, plus a small car end to end in Europe, or roughly the length of a standard American basketball court plus 10 feet in the US. Same as the turnpike double, the base trailers themselves are standard units. The configuration depends entirely on the converter dolly connecting them. Same piece of equipment, different trailer size combination, different total length, different permitted route network. Added, converter dolly. Same function as in the turnpike double, the wheeled unit with its own fifth wheel that makes the second trailer connection possible. The difference here is that the shorter 28-foot rear pup trailer behind the full-size lead trailer creates a combination that handles mountain curves and grade changes more predictably than two full-size trailers would. Most common in Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and Nevada, the Rocky Mountain states where the name originates. The configuration sits in the space between what standard doubles can carry and what the road geometry allows a full turnpike double to navigate. The B-train. The B-train solves the stability problem that standard doubles, connected by a converter dolly, create at speed on winding roads and in emergency braking situations. On a standard double, the rear trailer connects through a converter dolly, creating two articulation points. The B-train eliminates the converter dolly entirely. The rear of the first trailer is modified, and the second trailer couples directly to that modification. Added, integrated rear fifth wheel on the lead trailer. This is the defining modification that makes a B-train a B-train. The rear of the lead trailer is extended and fitted with its own permanently integrated fifth wheel. The second trailer's kingpin couples directly to this fifth wheel. No separate dolly unit, no additional wheeled axle between the trailers. The rear trailer now has one articulation point instead of two, and that point is on a fixed structure rather than a separate wheeled unit. The result is a combination that tracks more predictably, brakes more consistently, and handles emergency maneuvers more stably than a dolly-connected double of the same total length. A standard Canadian B-train combination runs approximately 25 meters, 82 feet, roughly the length of two standard 40-foot shipping containers plus a car in Europe, or about the distance between the two end zones on an American football field in the US. In Canada, B-trains carry payloads of up to 63,500 kilograms, 140,000 pounds, on approved routes, common in Canada, Australia, and Scandinavian countries. The trade-off is that the lead trailer is a specialized unit. Its integrated rear fifth wheel means it cannot be easily used as a standard single trailer. Operators running dedicated high-volume corridors consistently find the stability advantage worth that limitation. The sight skip trailer. A viewer described this one from memory without knowing its name. Red or blue body, yellow access ladder at the rear, rectangular shape, tilts while the truck is still carrying it, found at small construction sites and medium industrial operations. That is a skip loader trailer carrying a construction skip. The skip, the large open-topped rectangular steel container, is not permanently attached to the trailer. It is the cargo, and the trailer is built entirely around one specific mechanism added to handle it. The base of a skip loader trailer is a simple reinforced steel frame with a low bed angle. What makes it a skip loader is entirely what has been added to that frame. Added, hydraulic hook arm. A heavy steel arm mounted on a pivot point at the rear of the trailer engages a fixed bar welded to the front of the skip. When the arm extends hydraulically, it lowers the rear of the skip to the ground, rolling it off the trailer bed onto the delivery site. When the arm retracts, it pulls the skip back up and onto the trailer. The entire load and unload cycle requires no crane and no forklift, just the truck's own hydraulic system. Added, access ladder on the skip itself. The yellow ladder the viewer noticed is welded directly to the rear of the skip container, not to the trailer. It allows workers to climb up and load material into the skip from above at the construction site. The tilting the viewer noticed while the truck was moving is the skip settling on the trailer bed during transport. Some configurations allow a few degrees of rearward tilt, which is visible from the road and looks more dramatic than it is. A standard construction skip holds between 6 and 14 cubic meters, 8 and 18 cubic yards, roughly the volume of a standard European bathroom at the smaller end, or the interior of a standard American garden shed at the larger end. One driver can service multiple sites in a single shift without any manual loading at each stop. The drop deck with permanent ramps. The standard step deck covered in Part 1 has a lower main deck that gives tall equipment more vertical clearance than a standard flatbed. Equipment loads onto it from the rear over a ramp, but on a standard step deck, the ramp is not part of the trailer. The driver carries removable ramps as separate equipment, positions them before loading, and stores them again after. The drop deck with permanent ramps starts with the same base step deck frame and adds one specific modification that changes how loading works entirely. Added, fold-down rear ramp system. Steel ramps are built directly into the rear of the trailer as a permanently hinged structure. They fold down hydraulically or manually to contact the ground at a consistent controlled angle of 8 to 12 degrees and fold back up against the rear of the trailer and lock in place for transport. No separate ramp equipment to carry, position, or store. That consistent loading angle, the same every time on every site regardless of what surface the trailer is parked on, is what equipment rental companies and landscaping contractors rely on when loading and unloading multiple times per day on ground that is never perfectly flat. A skid steer loader or compact track loader that would scrape its belly on a steep portable ramp boards a permanent ramp drop deck cleanly at the shallower angle every single time. The chip van. Wood chips, bark mulch, biomass fuel, and shredded green waste are extremely light by volume. A cubic meter of wood chips weighs between 200 and 400 kilograms, 440 to 880 pounds, depending on species, moisture content, and chip size. A standard dry van filled completely with wood chips reaches perhaps 8 to 12 tons, 17,600 to 26,500 pounds, well below the legal weight limit. The trailer is full by volume before it is anywhere near full by weight. The chip van starts with a standard trailer chassis and adds two specific modifications to solve that volume problem. Added, raised body. The standard dry van interior height of approximately 2.6 meters, 8.5 feet, is extended to between 3.5 and 4.5 meters, 11.5 to 14.8 feet, by building a taller body on the same chassis. The additional height gives the trailer enough interior volume to carry a payload that actually approaches the legal weight limit when loaded with low-density material. Total interior volume on a chip van runs between 100 and 130 cubic meters, 130 to 170 cubic yards, roughly the volume of 4 standard 20-foot shipping containers in Europe, or the interior of a standard American 3-car garage plus a storage shed in the US. Added, walking floor system. Most chip vans are fitted with the same continuous conveyor floor system covered in Part 3. Wood chips and biomass flow well enough under the walking floor mechanism to unload cleanly without any tilting of the body. The combination of maximum volume body and walking floor unloading makes the chip van the most efficient road trailer available for the biomass and wood processing industries. The walking floor is not standard on every chip van. Some use a tipping body instead, but on high-cycle operations where tipping is not practical, the walking floor is the preferred addition. 8 trailers, 5 completely new, 3 expanding on configurations mentioned in earlier parts, but never properly explained. Every one of them built on a base trailer that already existed, and every one of them defined by what was added to that base. The roller deck on the truss trailer, the auger and scales on the tender, the converter dolly connecting the Turnpike and Rocky Mountain doubles, the integrated fifth wheel that makes the B train more stable than any dolly double, the hydraulic hook arm on the skip loader, the fold-down ramps on the drop deck, the raised body and walking floor on the chip van. The comment section built this video. The next one is already being written from the same source.